This video is a web tutorial for how to use WebPT. We will be using WebPT for the rest of the curriculum, so this is just to get you set up and familiar with how to use the program. So you should have received login information from WebPT with your username and password. If you have not, please contact me immediately and I will make sure that you get that set up. Once you get your WebPT login information, visit webpt.com and log in with your information provided in the email, and you'll be ready to start using the system. So we're going to go through a very quick sample patient, patient name Enid Hallowen. So when you log into WebPT, this is what you are going to see. You're on your dashboard. In the top right corner where it says search my patients, you're going to type in Enid Hallowen and click the search bar. That's how we're going to find our patient. The next thing that's going to open is going to be the patient's chart or the patient's file. So check in the top left corner the patient name is correct. It will have all the information about their age, who the therapist is, their doctor, how many visits, address, all of that information. So what you are going to do is you are going to create a daily note. Do not click or add anything in the records folder. We cannot modify this. So under patient record actions, the drop-down menu here says add daily note. It may say something else, so make sure that you toggle onto add daily note and then click the arrow. Okay. In addition to not adding or editing or opening anything down here, do not open someone else's note, because once you open it, it becomes your note. So you may open a classmate's note and then now it's under your name, or you may open a note from another instructor that wasn't finalized and that will now be under your name. So do not open other people's daily notes. Okay, now we're going to start our SOAP note. So the first tab that's going to open is going to be our subjective tab, and most of the information from the initial evaluation will actually be pulled over to this daily note. So things like injury date, past medical history, all of that will be pulled over. What you will need to do in your subjective section is input the subjective information that you have gathered from your patient for today's visit. So there will be a box that says functional deficits and gains, and that's where you are going to type in your information that you collected from your patient on today's treatment. In our objective tab, this is where we're going to document the number of treatment minutes or time that we've spent with our patient, as well as the objective findings. So you will be required to enter total direct minutes as well as total treatment minutes. Now, your direct patient minutes should be either the same as the total treatment minutes or less than the total treatment minutes. It should never be more. Okay? The direct treatment minutes is the number of minutes that you have spent one-on-one working with your patient. Okay? So someone may be there for an hour and a half, but you only worked with them for maybe an hour because maybe there was time before or after the treatment where they were using modalities, and that didn't count for their direct treatment minutes. Okay. What we are also going to do is look for the title called Untimed Codes. And in here, this is where we enter our billing units, and this correlates to the number of minutes that we've spent with our patient. So typically we say that 1 unit equals about 15 minutes of treatment. So let's say we did 15 minutes of therapeutic exercise, that would be 1 unit of TheraX. Let's say we did 15 minutes of gait training, okay, that's 1 unit of gait training. And let's say we did 15 minutes of therapeutic activity. So that would be about 45 minutes of treatment, and that would be 3 billing codes. Okay. Also in this objective tab, like I said, we're going to enter our objective data. So anything that we measured, observed, palpated, tested, anything that we did with our patient is going in this section. So this is a screenshot of our objective tab, so page 2 on our daily note. And right here we see our total direct minutes and then our total treatment minutes. This is where we're going to enter that information. And then on the left-hand side here is where we are going to enter the number of untimed codes that we want to use. Okay. Under objective findings, we see just a blank box. This is where you're going to enter your objective measures and data from today's treatment. Moving on to our assessment. So once we get to the third tab, this is our assessment tab. We again have a blank box here where you're going to enter your assessment for your patient that day. Okay. For example, you may say that your patient reports no pain during today's treatment, range of motion is improving, and the patient is progressing as expected. Something along those lines. Okay, that's where you're going to enter your assessment. And your very last tab is going to be your plan. So there is a blank box, but there's also a drop-down menu. So in this blank box, you're going to write any instructions or additional information. This drop-down tab has a couple of options. So you can see here it says progressing patient next visit. There are other options, progressing therapeutic exercise, progress note needed. Click on whatever is appropriate. Okay. The next step, and probably the most important, is saved as draft. This is the next thing that we are going to do. If you look down here, it says finalize daily note. Do not finalize your daily note. Okay? Never finalize your daily note. We have a limited number of notes that we can input, so you are always going to save your note as a draft. Okay? You can also preview your daily note if you would like to go back and look through your note and make sure things are formatted the way that you would like them. If all of the information is in your note, that will bring up a draft for you. But ultimately, you're going to save as a draft. Again, do not finalize your daily note. And then the very last step, once you've previewed, you've saved it as a draft, and you have not finalized your daily note, the very last thing that you will do is print out a copy of your note, and you will sign it and then turn it in to your instructor for whatever course that you are doing this note for, whatever competency that will be. Okay?